Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It is a W Chef Ju wrestling talk. We are back, and we're here, as Ted Turner would say, we're here to talk about some wrestling. When we come back.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
What's up, y'all? This is Chef Ju. Looking for a great chef for your next catering party, private party, office party, etc. with welcome watering meals and desserts? Let Chef Ju Catering and Sweet Treats take care of it for you at an affordable price. Call me at 786-804-8096. Also, reach me at chefjukatering@gmail.com. Direct message on Facebook and Instagram at Chef Juice Catering. Chef Juice Catering and Sweet Treats. Food with a passion. We do it all.
So what's going on? Shout out to Timothy Washington, Billy Batston. How you doing, man? And King 026. Appreciate you for coming through and chopping it up with us. So what's going on, guys? How you doing, man?
Good, brother. Good. What's up, man? Y'all, what's good with you, brother?
What's good, y'all? What's going on?
Man, listen, I worked a double yesterday, so I didn't do shit. I worked my ass off yesterday, and I'm enjoying this weekend off, but we got a lot of wrestling to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do, I just want to, you know how we do throwbacks every once in a while. I was just thinking about, I was playing Red Dead, right? And when you're in one of the towns, they have like a trolley, and then if you're in the way, they go ding, 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 and that remind me every time. Remember back in the day when somebody was getting jumped? That's they'll play the ding, 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 ding out. Like was that to alert people, or you remember how they used to do that ding, 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 ding? Remember?
Yeah, that was just I think that was their way of just trying to diffuse the situation, but knowing it's not going to really work. It's like the whistle in basketball or something. When because even when like people get in scuffles in basketball games, why are referees running to the mix of it, trying to break it up, but still blowing their whistles? Like I think that's what it technically kind of is. Like that's why they do it in wrestling. Because even if you notice when brawls break out in boxing matches, when like trainers and stuff, and there's like 300 people in the ring, if you listen, you're gonna hear the bell guy going crazy with the bell. Like that's not gonna stop nothing. You know, you you need to physically get in there because right now listening to that bell ring is not. It's gonna make me want to stop from trying to rip your head off. Yeah, and they still do it till today in wrestling and all. Like when it's like a person wins a match and all of a sudden their teammate or whatever comes in the ring and starts jumping them. Now it's 2-on-1, and of course the announcers talking crazy and the bell just ringing. I'm like, what is that gonna do? How about you get in there and clock somebody upside the head? Go help the situation or something. You just sitting at the damn table over there outside of the ring. Ding 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 ding. Like that's not gonna do anything.
That's a human being, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Wait, aren't they all?
Uh-huh.
and and some go through far worse than what you're saying that for right now.
Michael K, I want to say something to Michael K. Michael K, I got a Galaxy Samsung S20. If you want to donate $1,500 to $1,700 for me to get a new phone so I can have a better connection, I got Wi-Fi all through my house. I turn the Wi-Fi on, I turn the Wi-Fi off. This is just my connection. This is what it's going to be and how it's going to be. So everybody else doesn't have a problem with it. Only you and maybe one other person. But this is what it's going to be. If people can understand me, cool. If you can't understand me, sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, we got a lot of wrestling to talk about this week. We got pay-per-views and events all next week, starting with the Great American Bash, Evolution, and Saturday Night Main Event for WWE. And then we got the All-In extravaganza starting on Wednesday all the way through Saturday for AEW. So it's going to be an interesting week of professional wrestling coming up.
So I got a question. I mean, I love it because I felt like WWE did my girl wrong, Sasha Banks, right? Even though I don't really like this Mercedes character, especially that little stupid dance she does with the beat, with her music and stuff. I'm like, maybe the first time when she first appeared, okay, I get it. But now for it to be your thing, okay, I'm tired of that little bounce thing you do. But like, bro, how many belts he gonna have?
Yeah, they make her like the female Kenny Omega over there.
Right, and I feel like they did it on purpose. Because remember when WWE, when she was during the COVID time when she was with she had 2 belts, right? With tag team titles and the women's championship.
Yes.
So they were calling her, you know, Sasha 2 belts and all that. And it's like now there's like because she lost one of them, but she gained another one, and now she's going after because I think she won the one in Mexico, right?
Yes. She won the CMLL title in Mexico.
Right.
She lost
So
to New Japan. She lost to New Japan Strong title a couple months ago.
right, and when she lost that one, I felt like I was like, I'm like, oh, she's not going like they just gonna just rack her up with titles. Like, you know, too bad they don't have a deal with the WWE because she'll probably get those too. You know what I'm saying? Like she'll probably be walking around everywhere she could go with everybody's championship. Like she needed that. She need that big girl back again. What happened to that girl? What her name? Camille.
Well, Camille is a part of the American Gladiator show that is hosted by The Miz. It's funny that you brought that up because there was conflict between AEW and WWE because a WWE talent is hosting a show with AEW talent also on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Camille, she's going to be a part of American Gladiator, and Wardlow, he's going to be a part of American Gladiator, which is AEW talent still signed under AEW. And The Miz is WWE talent. So, you know, that's a conflict of interest for WWE. AEW don't have a problem with it. It's WWE that has a problem with it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't like how that storyline went with them, how they broke them up and whatever. I just thought it was too soon, and like y'all didn't really have a good run. I thought y'all gonna be her. She was gonna be her bodyguard for a lot longer than
Right.
she's been. And I'm like, for her to have all these titles, I'm like, that's the perfect time to have that woman because you're heel, and a lot of these matches, she's winning these titles clean. You know, she's not really being a heel wrestler. Like as far as finishing matches, like she'll do the little cheap shots here and there to, you know, but as a heel would do, but like she's not winning these matches dirty. Like for you to have all these titles, I would be expecting you to win at least some of them dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like clock somebody upside the head with a belt real quick while the referee laid out somewhere or something like that. And
Right. I'll be honest with you. Man of the hour. That match when they went to Mexico a couple weeks ago, I was very surprised how good that match was. I was extremely surprised. It turned out way different than what I thought it was going to be, and it was, like you said, it was a clean finish. It was nothing janky about it. No outside interference. A very good match put together by both women because they both was getting it in. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the way that match finished with a reversal in midair off the top rope, that was orchestrated very well, very well. Somebody in the comments mentioned, shout out to King of 26. He said they mentioned how she looks like Ultimo Dragon with the J Cup title. I don't think she's gonna be like that. I mean, I was in awe when I first saw a man with the Super J Cup. And Ultimo Dragon was the first person I ever seen walking out to the ring with 9 belts. Like I never seen something like that. That was insane. But yeah, she's and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised since the merger with TNA and WWE. Don't be surprised you might have some WWE cats looking like that soon too. So because you already got that one tag team in WWE that just won the CML. I think they won the AAA title since they won AAA, and they got the AAA titles. I forgot the two guys that hold those titles. The 2 guys.
Yeah, that's what is it? La Faction. What they call it?
I forgot what the boy
Cruz
name.
del Toro and Joaquin Wild. Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, there you go, Legados.
Humberto and his brother.
Them two. They just won that title, and that was a weird. You know, I like them together, but it's like when they first came across each other, they hated each other.
Right.
and they used to kick each other's
They started
asses.
in the 205 live division.
Yeah,
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
and they used to hate each other, and then
This
all
is
of
an
a
honest
sudden,
question. If let's say Ray retires, do you think he tries to convince Triple H to bring back the cruiserweight division, and he does all the writing for that?
It
I think
depends.
that'll be probably, yeah. It depends, because I mean, I thought the 205 live was exactly what you're saying, and it just, I don't think they had enough talent.
Yeah, no. Now they have enough talent on the
Yeah, now
roster
they
for that.
do, because they have the AAA and stuff like that. Now you could
Yeah,
you
and
could just do
when I
that.
look at this man of the hour, what I think needs to happen, the cruiserweights should be anyone below 205. Then they have I think what needs to happen is they eliminate the two mid card titles, and the mid card title should be the light heavyweight title. So that's gonna be anybody between 215 and 220, like between anybody below 230 is gonna be in the light heavyweight division. That
Mm.
do you guys think that would make sense, or that would be too convoluted? Do you think, Dolphin winners?
Well, here's the deal with that. We already discussed that. I think both organizations, and I'm gonna say both WWE and AEW, they got too many belts. Just too many. I think it's too many belts. It's not enough. It's not. And the thing is, you got a lot of talent, but you just got too many belts right now. And if you add another belt, then you know what's gonna happen.
No, I'm
You know
saying
what I mean?
retire the. What I'm saying is retire the United States and Intercontinental titles and bring back a light heavyweight title, and that's for anybody that's in the middle ground between cruiserweight and the guys who are above 230 pounds. Because
No,
I like Seth Rollins, but to me, his body, he seems like a guy who fit perfectly well in the light heavyweight in a light heavyweight division or whatever. And
Thank you, Capitan, for pinning the link. Thank you.
if they ever did that, because then it would go back to the days of WCW when WCW had a cruiserweight division, a great cruiserweight division. May I add too. WWE has the talent. It's not like they don't have the talent. The problem is now, Anthony, is
the booking.
it's not even just the booking. Remember now, SmackDown is back down to 2 hours. It's no longer 3 hours anymore. So now it's less TV time now. So now you got to figure out a way to be able to book certain talent for that extra hour that you had that you lost. Now you got to try to fit all the talent that you can within the 2 hours of Raw and now the 2 hours of SmackDown.
I have an idea. They should bring back Sunday Night Heat.
I'm down with that. I'm down for that.
And that could be a show that's only, like, for me, that could be a show that you can only have on, that show should be only on weekends that don't have a pay-per-view. So I understand the original concept for that show was as a pre-show, a precursor to pay-per-views, but now with them having a 5-hour pay-per-view, it doesn't make sense to have a Sunday Night Heat and add another hour and make it like an 8-hour pay-per-view and stuff like that. So,
well, remember back in the day when they did do pay-per-views like that, they would have Sunday Night Heat on first, and then they would go right into the pay-per-view right after the Sunday Night Heat. Am I correct, Shay? Am I right, man? 8 hour and Shay? They used to have the Sunday Night Heat first, and then go right into the pay-per-view right after Sunday Night Heat.
Was that almost like the
Yeah. I remember.
pre-show?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, back then would you guys say Sunday Night Heat was equivalent to what you see with the pre-shows now?
Except without the matches, I would hope. Like I like AEW's little their little kickoff, because they'll give you a match or two.
WWE, honestly,
3 matches. You'll get 3 matches in their.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 pre-matches on AEW, on AEW's 2-hour pre-show or whatever, however long it is. But you'll get matches.
I like how WWE does it. They have a match at the beginning of the pre-show, then they have breakdowns of the matches that are going to be on the pay-per-view. Then they have a match leading up to the first main card match and stuff like that, like a
I'll never
like a
forget. I
tag
went
team match, or
to
like
this was back in the '90s, right? I went to a Monday Night Raw show, and they recorded a Heat, and then they recorded a Raw show.
Because that's when they were like not live and stuff. Cause I mean, they still do that. That's how 205 Live was. They used to. It was taped like during a SmackDown episode.
They recently just taped in Pittsburgh Raw and SmackDown this week because they wanted the wrestlers to have off the 4th of July. So they are doing more tapings like that, and they're telling people if you don't want to
Red
see
Wine
the
Bills,
spoilers,
what's going on, Red Wine Bills?
if you don't want to see the spoilers, don't go on the internet because the spoilers will be on the internet. So they are starting to do that right now. I miss those night. I miss those Sunday night heat days. I love those
and
days.
for me, Evolve to me, WWE Evolve to me, Dolphin Winners.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they have it after. Is it after SmackDown? When do they usually have WWE Evolve on Tubi? Is that like on a Wednesday or after SmackDown? Usually, for me, that makes more sense because that show is training kids to be on live television for NXT. That should be like a show before NXT and stuff like that. Like instead of having it on Wednesday, that should be a show that leads into NXT. Do you agree?
I mean, it could be a hit and miss. I mean, I'm not going to say I can agree, and I won't say I'm not going to say I'm disagreeing with you, and I'm not going to say I'm agreeing with you.
Because most of those kids are performance center kids that haven't debuted on television, so it's teaching kids to be comfortable in front of the camera. And
so not to interrupt you, and just give me a second. So the order of how the development for WWE is Performance Center, LFG, Evolve, or Evolve, and then LFG, then NXT, and then come up to the main roster of Raw or SmackDown.
Evolve is a mixture of talents that like ID talent and WWID talent and Performance Center talent that haven't gone on LFG. So at LFG, I think it's I think it's Evolve, then LFG, then NXT.
Okay.
Then the main roster. That's how the promotion thing works and stuff like that.
Okay.
And honestly, this is where I can criticize Tony a little bit when it comes to how they have struggled developing young talent. They have to bring in experienced talent because they don't really have they have the road school, but they don't have any other way to develop young talent. They need to have they should build a performance center in Jacksonville.
I'll say this. This is what I'll say to you. When AEW first started, because I've been a day one. Like I say, I'm a day one AEW fan. When AEW first started, you had Dynamite and then you had AEW Dark, and I enjoyed AEW Dark because some of my favorite tag teams like Private Party, which they're not gonna, I don't think they're gonna be signing back with AEW. They might be going to WWE in the future, which I hope they do.
Do you think actually when you look at Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassie, like what is your comparison for them in terms of a tag team that you've seen before? Like in terms of there's a lot of people say the Hardys, but I don't see that.
I see it.
To me, they're the bootleg Street Profits.
You think so?
Yeah,
I mean that was at least for that was AEW's version of that.
You know who they remind me of? Like they're a smaller version of the team that used to be with not the tag team that D'Lo had when he was in the.
Oh wow! I know exactly what you're talking about. Yup. When D'Lo was tagged up with, who was he tagged up with though?
Kama Mustafa.
Yep. And they got, you know what I like about them, Anthony? I'll be honest with you. You know what I like about Private Party? They've come out and said that their influences are the Hardy Boys. So they learned so much, and to have them at AEW at one time and learned so much from them, you can see the influence. You know what I mean? So I would say, like you answered it. To me, you can see the Hardy Boys in them. Man of the Hour said they're like a team version of the Street Profits as well. But what I like about them is they are who they are, and they're not trying to be like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? They got great chemistry in the ring. And you just knew when the Hurt Syndicate came in, you saw the writing on the wall. I think anybody, fan or no fan, you saw the writing on the wall when Big Bobby Lashley and Sheldon Benjamin came in there, and I'm like, yeah, they're not going to be holding the titles anymore.
Yeah, and to me, I'm still saying this and sticking to my guns. It feels odd to have MJF in that group. Like
I
it
hate
feels
it.
so like it's an odd thing. I think
I
they're
hate
forcing it way
it.
too
You
much.
know why I like it, gentlemen? You know why I like it? Because if you follow wrestling and you listen to promos, what did MJF say months and months ago? That he didn't want to make any more friends, that he didn't want to join anything, but he's an opportunist. So he says, once I get my Triple B back, like you got to think, either he's going to set the Hurt Syndicate up, or the Hurt Syndicate are going to turn on them, or turn on MJF, and that's what I got a funny feeling.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about what I'm talking about is MJF's wrestling style doesn't really fit what Bobby and Shelton do and stuff like. That's what I'm like. Their characters and their in-ring style doesn't really match what MJF does. Am I off in saying that, Man of the Hour or Winners?
I don't think you're off with it. I just think like for me, I just don't like his fit. I think they just kind of like Winter said, somebody's gonna turn on somebody, and it's gonna lead up to something.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be the Hurt Syndicate. I think I've been saying this. I think they're gonna add Powerhouse Hobbs to the group.
Whoever turns on who, MJF is gonna need a partner. Because you're not gonna be.
I don't think MJF. To me, MJF, like he works better as a manipulative heel, like by himself. He doesn't really need a group around him.
Yeah, I know, but that for this team that has been made, like he said, if there's a split, MJF, no matter which way, matter who goes.
I think they turn baby. I think they're going to be turned into a badass babyface group because
unless they do the
MJF didn't work as a babyface, really. Like
unless they kind of do what WWE did with Paul Heyman. MJ, I mean, I don't know what this dude.
You think that Montel might turn on Shelton and
and
Bobby?
Unless they do that.
Ooh, that would be good. Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that because the relationship with MVP and MJF goes way longer, and it goes way back.
Exactly.
No. I thought. Wait a minute. I thought Shelton. I thought MJF knew Bobby and Shelton way before. Like
no, it was MVP.
MVP.
No, that's what I'm saying. I thought MVP knew Bobby and Shelton longer than he knew.
Well, I don't know who knew. I don't know who knew who the longest, but I just know that they talked about their history going far back.
Yeah.
No, because they're bringing up this angle seems to be bringing up the same thing he did with William Regal. Remember, where William Regal told MJF he wouldn't make it. I feel this is without that portion. It feels like they're bringing up that angle again with MJF if that happens.
That would be great. And that would be great. You know why? Because that's long-term storytelling. That's what you want in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you want in wrestling. WWE is famous for that. AEW is still trying to catch up to it, and I think they got it somewhat, but they're doing it in their
No,
way.
but don't you think that's just rehashing an old storyline that didn't work the last time?
It wasn't the fact that it didn't work. It was just the fact that Steven Regal his contract was up and he was about to be out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's just what that was. I don't think it was not rehashing a storyline. What it is it's a storyline that wasn't finished by one character but can be continued with another. You get what I'm saying? And now it can go different this way. See, MVP, even though he's an older man, he can still wrestle. You know, he just had a match not that long ago, I think last year at Emerson.
But you see him limping a lot when he
he takes a lot of bumps, bro. You take some bumps, and eventually your body is going to break down.
Okay. Yeah, what I want to see, I'm not sure if you guys want to see this with the Street Profits a little bit. I want to see them slowly turning into the gangsters from ECW, like that character type, that character, like with New Jack and was that Kama Mustafa too?
Yeah, but that's never happening, bro. I lived the ECW era. I was down there at ECW arena. Them two men, nobody. Let's just stop right here. No, you will never ever have another New Jack, ever. You will never have anybody compare anybody to them dudes. What what? Them guys, they was crazy. And actually to see them live, man, I'm gonna tell you something. The energy in ECW back in the late '90s. Oh man.
No, I'm not saying exact carbon copy, but using a little bit. What I'm saying is making them not. They're going P. It seems like WWE because they're moving. It's eventually, I think, the USA contract. I think they're going to move SmackDown to Netflix eventually. To be honest,
Yeah. Hold on, guys, real quick. Coming to the ring.
Oh shit!
At 6'1", 243 pounds, all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina, the 16-time World Championship. Woo! Rick Crypto Flair.
Oh shit! We got a chance to watch his daughter wrestle last night.
Do you guys think there's unfair hatred for
man?
Like, it seems like people hate Charlotte for an ungodly reason. Like, a lot of fans don't like Charlotte. Is it because of her name or like?
I think okay. I mentioned this backstage to somebody a couple of weeks ago. I think the hate on Charlotte is the fact that the opportunities she keeps getting. They keep putting
forcing her down everybody's throat.
Think about it. Let's think back to they cheered her return at the Royal Rumble. And the same damn Royal Rumble match, they booed her because she won. The very next night on Raw, when she's trying to make a decision on what title she's going to go after, she comes out, they boo her. So they immediately had to turn her heel because the fans was booing her, which it wasn't to their expectation. They thought the fans was going to greet her with love and cheer for her, and she was going to be, a face for a while. But they had to turn her heel.
To me, in general, her character is a heel all the way.
Yes,
I don't think she works as a her arrogance doesn't really work as a baby face.
Right, her character is a heel, like that's what she should be all the time. But that's how many people you barely see people come back from injuries, especially major injuries, and they come back as a heel. The only way they do that,
even Triple H. Remember when Triple H came back and won the unified title? He was a face at one time. Remember?
Exactly.
Becky just returned as a heel,
but she didn't come back as a heel.
She came back as a face first. She came back as a face first when the tag team titles. Bailey off, but remember, we all thought Bailey was hurt, but Bailey got her spot bumped because of Becky. That's why we got the feud between Becky and Bailey right now. And I'll be honest with you, the script right now and make Becky the face and make Bailey the heel, I'm good with that because they made Lyra look crazy right now because she's obsessed. She's obsessed with beating the hell out of Becky, and now
Is she a heel now? I'm confused. Is Lyra a heel now?
Yeah, they're turning her heel, bro. Remember, she interfered in a match with Bailey the other night, last week, and costing her shot at the title.
Yeah.
So now it's like Lyra's losing her mind, and she doesn't care what anybody thinks. All she wants is the title now, and all she wants to do is beat Becky ass.
To me, it feels weird to have a small a girl like I like Lyra, but to me, it's weird having a heel that small. Like I think Alexa's an exception to the rule because naturally her personality fits more as a heel. Like,
but Alexa Bliss was always able to do it. Beside even without this, kind of Bray Wyatt type thing she got going on now. Like she was able to, even when she was, I guess you could say, normal as a normal girl at the time, she was able
she's
to
naturally
play
a
a
heel
good.
in general. When you
She
look
was
at her
able to play
character
a
in
good
general,
heel.
yeah. No, Lyra to me is a baby face. Naturally a baby face to me. I can't. It's weird. I'm not sure it's a storytelling. It's just for me, there's certain characters are naturally a baby face that I can't boo as a heel. To be honest, Rey Mysterio, if Rey turned heel, I don't think it would work. Do you guys agree?
Rey was heel at one point in his career, bro. Remember when he joined?
When he was young, that was different. I'm talking about now.
It doesn't matter now or then. That's a part of wrestling.
If they tell the right story, it'll work. Like if they do it the right way.
They turn Bob Backlund. Listen, if they could turn Bob Backlund into a heel, they could turn anybody into a heel.
Oh,
thank you.
I gave it. Use another example. Sergeant Slaughter when he joined the Iron Sheik.
Exactly.
Oh, that was great.
You see, if they're exactly, and look how they did it. Like that's what I'm saying. If they could find a perfect way to do it, they'll get ready to be a heel, and he'll be the ultimate heel. I mean, hell, let him join Judgment Day or some shit like that. Like, and let's see, kick Finn out and see what happens or something like that.
He got gold now. He got all the gold. So
No, I mean now I'm talking about later on down the line. Or
This is an honest question. What was Sergeant Slaughter? You know that character that was like a South African, like in the 80s and 90s, like during the AWA days. There was a guy. I wasn't sure if that was Sergeant Slaughter or a different person. It was like almost like he played like a South American soldier during apartheid. Was that Sergeant Slaughter?
That's not Sergeant Slaughter. I don't know the name, but I can see his face.
Colonel De Beers.
Yeah.
I thought that was Sergeant. I've always assumed that was Sergeant Slaughter.
No, different character. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, there are certain characters that, like I said, there's certain people in my Rey is a difference. That's the heel when he was with the Filthy Animals. Was he a heel or a baby face?
Heel. They were heels.
But remember, he was just coming into. I think he was in his 20s when he did that. Could he work? No matter the story, what I'm saying, no matter how good the story is with Rey, I think naturally he was mostly a babyface throughout his time in WWE. That's why I'm saying it would be so. It's like the John Cena thing. I can't really boo John Cena because he's been, as a wrestling fan my whole life, since I started watching wrestling, he's been a babyface. Like most of the time I've been watching wrestling and stuff. Like the rare case with the Doctor.
I blew the shit out of him. I blew the shit out of him in your face. When he was doing all that, I'm going to say this. I was somewhat of a fan when he was doing Thugonomics. It kind of made me laugh. But then when I actually knew that this dude could actually rap and actually seen him on not just the WWE album that he came out with, he actually was on features with different MCs. I said, this dude actually can rap. So I give him his props on that. But then when he became that good guy, never get up, I don't like, I'm gonna be honest, me personally, I'm not a big good guy fan. I like some good guys. But when people turn heel, and because my whole thing is that's where you see the evolution and just the ceiling on how good a professional, female or male, is. When you can see a person, like you just said, you don't like going scene or whatever, but if you can get, if that wrestler can get me to turn or give me the turn to be a fan of theirs, they got me. Because you know why? They got that hit in them that made me believe in them. It made me believe the storyline. It made me believe everything that was going on. That's for me as a wrestling fan, since like I've learned more about wrestling, that's what I appreciate more about wrestlers these days. If you can make me a fan by doing something that I never thought you was gonna do, bro, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Look,
See, with Randy specifically, where do you guys place him? Is he a babyface or a heel, or is he in that weird middle ground?
He's in the realm of both. You can see that he's having problems. We just saw him just the other night, RKO Drew McIntyre. So you already know that sets up a feud with Drew McIntyre. You already know that.
But like, no, that's fine. So with Randy specifically, you're thinking he's in that middle ground. He's not a babyface or a heel.
The man clearly said, I will do
flips
whatever.
depending on who
He
he's
said
facing.
the other day that, remember, Cody, I told you that I would do whatever it takes to win the title. And Cody pulled the trigger and he didn't. He said that in the promo. You got to pay attention to the promos, man. They're giving you the cheat sheet. It's up to you to sit there and take it. Now, if you want to play dumb, that's on you. But the cheat sheets, if you listen to what they're saying in the promos, bro, it's right there. I'm telling you, they put it right in front of your face.
Yeah, I watch the promos, but I don't. The intricacies sometimes I don't pay attention because I'm just focusing on the facial reactions rather than what they're saying. Is that a bad thing to do?
I won't say that. That's how you interpret it. I can't tell you how to interpret anything or professional wrestling. That's how you interpret and how you look at professional wrestling. All of us up here look at professional wrestling differently when we watch it.
When you guys focus on promos, do you prefer what, as fans, do you prefer focusing on the facial expressions on how the person is reacting to the promo, or would you rather do you focus mainly on what they're saying? Which one do you guys focus more on?
I look at what they're saying. You got to catch, the pieces in what they're saying. You got to catch what they're saying first of all, and I don't really look at the facials. I listen to how the crowd reacts to certain things that's being said, and I think the company goes off of that and whatever. And it also depends on who you're talking to, because you could be in the ring like Randy and Drew McIntyre. Like, what is that? And it just takes one thing to really kind of happen to know where each guy is on, what side they're on.
Yeah, like it's hard. Like for me, this is where I give Ray credit so much to be able to portray when he's doing promos with a mask on. It's hard to see his facial expressions really. Like that's what I give Ray credit the most for, being able to do promos with a mask on and actually, what is the term I'm going to use? Like integrate it. Like, oh my god, like be able to like what he's trying to say to the fans, like, or like when he's doing a promo with someone to make the fans believe what he's saying when when they can't see what his facial expressions are because of the mask.
I think it's just pre stuff that he says, like how much you could tell what side he's on by how he reacts with the crowd. How does he get the crowd to interact with him? Like he calls out the city or wherever they at, and he starts speaking in Spanish and all that. Long as you get into cheers and stuff, I don't think I need to see his face. I think it's gonna be more about what he says, because all you have to do, like, look at The Rock. Like before The Rock became the final boss, this dude, he comes out whenever he comes out. Once you hear that music hit, The crowd goes crazy. He comes out. He touches his forearm with the goosebumps and all that other shit he does. Then he comes to the ring. He gets the crowd on their feet and whatever. And they love him because he's not on TV like that, like he used to be. But then all of a sudden, when the whole Roman Reigns and The Rock match was supposed to happen and the fans didn't want it, they wanted Cody to finish the story and all that. And so The Rock started getting booed. Like I never thought The Rock would get booed again. From where
Honestly,
he
and I think the fans even turned on him more when he basically walked out last year at WrestleMania. Like he said he was going to do. I think it was a match with Roman or something or Cody, and he just didn't show up the WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, he didn't show up because he had the differences with Triple H and stuff like that.
So
But
let me ask you
that's
this
just
real quick. When Cena wrestled, number one, the WrestleMania we went to, would you consider him the heel, or were they both like good guys?
they were both good guys, but that's what I'm saying. The Rock was going to get the majority of the fans behind him because of him not being around for so long. That's why I said I never thought The Rock would get booed again. But it took The Rock to just basically change his character, change his whole persona and whatever. Because once the crowd started booing him for getting for the WrestleMania match, and they didn't want that, all of a sudden the crowds are chanting Rocky sucks. We haven't heard that in forever. You know what I'm saying?
And was the whole bloodline thing, like the family, was that a setup to make the fans even hate him more?
I mean, they just went with it. They listened to the fans and how the fans reaction, so they had to change it. They had to change the way it was going to go. So they gave the match to Cody, but they wasn't going to leave The Rock out of it and just say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. You just step to the side. No, you're going to get involved, and the fans is so far up Cody's ass at the time. You know, the only way we're gonna sit up there and get the people that hate you. So you're going to get involved with Roman, since Roman was already the heel anyway. Instead of going against each other, y'all team together. They hate Roman already. All you got to do is get in the ring, insult the city real quick. I mean, because they're going to love you when you come into the ring. They're going to cheer you. You're going to do your little shit that you do on the rope. You're going to stand there. The crowd's going to give you this long chant bullshit, cheering for you. And then all of a sudden you get on the mic. You're going to say maybe a couple of positive things, and then he's going to switch it real quick and be like, it's great to be in this city and da 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 da. The crowd gonna love it, and then this place is a dump type shit, and all of a sudden, boo. So it's like,
With Roman specifically, before Rock got involved in the storyline, I realized that fans were slowly starting to cheer for him, like organically starting to cheer for Roman. Even with Paul Heyman as his manager, people were repeating what Paul was saying.
You know why? Because people was buying into that acknowledge me thing. So Roman was gaining fans with that persona, with the whole acknowledge me thing. Because every time when he first started to acknowledge me, it'd be straight boos. Then it turned into a mixture of boos and cheers. Then you start getting a lot more cheers. And then all of a sudden, after he loses the title and they create the new bloodline, that's when they really, now the fans is chanting for Roman. I'm like, dog, y'all, just a couple of weeks ago, y'all couldn't stand this man. And now all of a sudden, Solo, it's like they got to put the ultimate, they got to have somebody for the fans to hate a little bit more. Like you see, Solo has been heel this whole time. The whole time. Bloodline.
Hey, by the way, shout out real quick. Shout
Bloodline.
out to Tonk. Shout out to Tonk 7. Yeah, I got a lot of shows but they're all two or three ingredients.
So yeah, the bloodline.
And this is where people like the. Yeah, and this is where, when it comes to the Cody situation,
What's up,
I agree
Sharif?
with John Cena. With John Cena said in a promo that he did with Cody. Eventually, these fans. He brought up Roman in the promo. I can't remember which promo it was. He said, "Look out with Roman. they hated Roman because people were getting shoved down everybody's throats. Then they slowly start like he called the fans bipolar when it comes to how they cheer a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
The they're eventually going to turn on you, Cody. You're just a flavor of the month. Do you agree with what John Cena is saying, or do you think that's a little bit harsh?
No, I think it's true, and I believe Cody is going to turn. I was going to say that earlier. Cody's going to turn. Cody's going to turn heel. Watch. That's why when you were talking about Randy Orton earlier, and see, I think that they're trying to trick you. They're trying to get you to think that Randy is going to be the one to turn, and I think it's going to be the other way around. I think Cody is going to be the one to turn. They're going to keep Randy as a face. I really believe they're going to keep Randy as a face.
Is there a way you can work that, like, his legend killer persona? Can that work as a baby, like a badass baby face?
Hell
Or
yeah.
that only works as a heel?
It'll work because it all depends on what legends he's going after. See, Randy would have to be to work for me, for him to get that to work, he'd have to find the right legends that are heels. It's gonna be heel legends for him to do it. Because remember, when he was a heel, he was doing all the good heels.
All the good,
all the good
the
faces.
good guys.
All the legendary good guys. So
Rick
all it's
wasn't a
gonna
heel,
take,
but that's the issue. Rick wasn't a baby face. Rick was a heel with Evolution, and he still did that with Rick.
Well, he did it with Rick. Well, they got to make, but Rick was an old man and all that other stuff. So, in order for Randy to be that legend killer, the Viper, and all that, he had to strike anybody at any time. Like, it didn't matter who you were. So to be the ultimate heel, sometimes you're gonna have to go get another heel, or a guy who was a top heel back in his day, like Rick was, and I'm gonna take you out too.
He could do that with if Triple H slowly becomes Vince. Like, I kind of hope they do a storyline like with Triple H, like they did with Vince, where he slowly becomes a power hungry egomaniac and stuff like that. Like how Vince did if they do that with Triple H, would that be a good thing?
I mean, I don't think Triple H. One, I don't think Triple H gonna take a bump.
You don't think so?
He can't.
No,
He
can't.
he already said that if he does, that will be his last and final thing he does in his life. He had that surgery on his heart, and once he had that surgery on his heart, he can't take no physical contact whatsoever. None.
That's why when you see he don't really come out too much when it be like a bunch of chaos going on. When you see Triple H come out there and act like he's getting in the skirmish or whatever, he's not really in the middle of it. He'll wait till they have you somewhere being held back by referees or security, and then he's yelling at you or something like that. But he's never getting his hands on you, pulling you off of people and all that other stuff. He's not doing that. That what you see Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis do that more than Triple H.
That's what I was gonna. Could that work with like a Nick Aldis, like that type of?
Well, we just seen Randy RKO him a few weeks ago.
Can you use the Vince storyline with a Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce?
Nah, I don't think so because they're not big enough. Like, you're just a general manager, and general manager doesn't.
Nick is still an active wrestler though. Right now he's a general manager, but people forget he hasn't retired from the ring.
I mean, he could still be all that, but I don't think he's just a big enough person like the boss would be. Like Vince was the boss of the whole
think
company.
It would have to be like a Shawn Michaels or someone like that.
Yes, yeah, like a Shawn Michaels, definitely. He could probably do it. Get him involved in some bumps, but it'll happen on NXT though. Like,
they could do that with Ava. She's a general manager.
Yeah, get some girl that y'all want to turn heel and and go after her, and and see what happens. But I don't think she's gonna get physical.
You think Ava's just gonna be a general manager most of her career? She's not gonna go in the
I mean,
ring.
she tried the wrestling thing. She wasn't really that good at it. That's why they put her in that group with the dude who's with the Wyatt Six now. Um,
Oh, the
you
group.
know who I'm talking about, because they
Oh,
had
Nikki
that group.
Cross.
They had the group. What was that group called?
Ava was in a group.
That's how she first came in.
Oh, shoot! I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the group. Is it? Are you talking about Sanity or something like that, or?
I don't know. Anybody know?
No, I don't watch NXT like that.
Yeah, she was in a group before she became the general manager.
Yeah,
Real
no.
quick,
So Ava, they put Ava in that position because they knew she's good at talking, but she can't. She can be a manager or a
Well, they
general
didn't.
manager.
She wasn't even. There we go. Joe Gacy. Somebody put in the comment. Joe Gacy. He's part of Wyatt Six now,
Oh, okay,
but
yeah.
she was in a group on NXT. She wasn't good as a wrestler. That's why they put her in that group. And I figured, because I thought she was gonna get the same path as Rock by starting in the group like the Rock did, the Nation and Domination type shit. Like, even though that's not where Rock really started at,
Yeah.
but I thought they just said we're gonna
Rocky
just
Maivia, they hated him for it.
yeah, I thought they were gonna just start the her right there in the group and see what happens from there, but she couldn't really handle it in the ring. And so when they broke that group up, Ava just kind of disappeared. And then when NXT had their little
Rebrand.
change, yeah, when they rebranded, she ended up being the general manager, and she's been it ever since.
I
Never
think she
got
could be a
physical
good
again.
valet. Like, she could be a valet for. She can be the new mouthpiece if Roman comes back.
And
Like,
she could, but I mean, I think she's good where she's at right now, running the show, I guess. I mean, it's not a hard of a job for her either. And I think this is one of the things, even though what's Ricochet's girl? The ring announcer. Huh?
JoJo.
No, not JoJo. Ricochet. Samantha. She wanted a role, something like that. She wanted to be a valet and all that other stuff and do other things other than ring announce. And that's all they wanted her for and whatever. So,
And I think that's what I think Renee did an interview after she left WWE. She said she wanted to be a like a manager, but WWE only wanted her to do like announcing or commentary and stuff
right.
like
And,
that.
and it was supposed to be just temporary, but she was good at it. So they left her.
Renee?
No, Samantha. She was good at what she does on the mic. So, and then you're singing and all this other stuff. Because I mean, I found on YouTube that she did America's
She
Got
had
Talent or
albums, I
something like
think.
that. One of them singing. One of them singing.
I thought you were gonna say OnlyFans.
No, I wish.
That's Mandy Rose.
Damn,
That's Mandy
Jake.
Rose.
Yeah, Mandy Rose and it does the OnlyFans.
And Cora Jade is now on her OnlyFans too.
Yeah, Cora J. Yeah, because she was let go. So go out there and do your thing. They, supposedly that she was injury prone on why she was released.
And character issues, apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, real quick, let's welcome Sharif. What's going on, Sharif? How you doing, man?
Hey, Sharif.
Listen, man, I'm
What?
Damn. I
Huh?
finally got to introduce him, and he disappeared.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He probably accidentally hit the button.
Damn.
And kicked himself out.
He been in here the whole time, and as soon as he says something, he gets kicked out.
Maybe
Man,
maybe
Shake, why you throw him out? Why you kick him out the space, Shake?
No, Listen. I really wanted to hear how he's gonna say how Miss McMahon got fired because he didn't get Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
There you go, Sharif. What's going on? Welcome back.
Hey, sorry. I came in to unclick my voice and I clicked myself into Percy I-8. But anyways, uh,
Yeah. What's
but
up,
guys,
Sharif?
I guess I'm an old guy on my lawn because I'm sitting there thinking, OnlyFans, and I'm thinking like how Ultimate Warrior came up. I love wrestling, but it's like how I guess the NBA is watered down and tackling the quarterback is watered down, tackling and Ronnie Lott. You know, it's so to me, I'm the guy who watched wrestling at its purest. Now, don't get me wrong. I think if you can follow a female wrestler and then go on her OnlyFans, that's nothing that I could ever imagine me growing up as a teenager. That's why I say I enjoyed the WWF. I enjoyed everything about that even more when you guys discuss, the ins and outs and the reality shows about it doesn't it's like WNBA. It will never get me in, but I still am a wrestling
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. No. It's funny. People complain
Like Mae
that these
Young, I wish she had OnlyFans.
Yeah, no. Let's not forget. Like,
Oh my god, China.
yeah,
Oh my
China
god.
and Lita did adult films during their career.
Yeah,
Playboy
but that was never talked about, Anthony.
I know Paige did that. Chick Paige.
No. Lita did. She did adult films when she was wrestling in the 90s. They She
No,
doesn't talk about it
I'm
that
talking
much
about
anymore.
Paige too. Paige.
Different
What was her name?
sound.
That was her name. Paige, right?
That
Paige?
was leaked. That was leaked. I feel bad.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm sure glad it was.
I feel bad for that girl. She was a
Yeah.
teenager when that video was released.
Damn,
Paige
Shake.
was on. Paige admitted after that incident, she had
But
mental
China could at
problems.
least beat you. But China could fight. That's the thing with her. All right, like at least she could beat you. So if she gets an OnlyFans in the 80s.
Yeah, people forget Paige. People forget Paige started wrestling at 12 years old in England because England really does not have you know how here in the United States for wrestling schools you're supposed to be 17 or 18 to sign up. Back in England, England and Europe, they don't really have that restriction. Or Mexico, most of these wrestling schools allow kids to start wrestling at 12 or 13 years old. Ray even said it in interviews. He started wrestling at 11.
I agree. I agree 100%. Kazuchika Okada dropped out of high school in Japan and went to Mexico at the age of 16, and he's one of the best professional wrestlers right now.
But Ray even said he regretted doing that because his body wasn't ready to handle the bumps and stuff like that. Like that's why he's had multiple surgeries later on in his career because starting that early is actually bad for your body because your body's not really mature enough to handle all those bumps on the ring and stuff in the ring and so and that's why I think the U.S. has. This is why North America, when it comes to these wrestling schools, they tell you have to be older than 16 because your body's mature enough to handle your body's physically ready because it's already matured. They can handle the
Vision.
bumps.
That's why they call him Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He had so many injuries. They said, look, you're going to hold the wood, hit the shit out of somebody, and you're not going to be fighting much because you're all broken down already. Like Hacksaw couldn't, he could, he was the most unathletic wrestler ever. But,
Dusty wasn't really that athletic either.
No, I would
yeah,
say
but
No, Hacksaw, he was burly in a way, but I wouldn't say most unathletic.
Hacksaw was a
I would
football
say,
player, wasn't he?
Yeah, Hacksaw
I
was
don't know.
a semi-pro football player.
I didn't know that.
But he was damaged goods, so he couldn't do the athletic moves that the high flyers of Mysterio could do, right? And so you just weak
Different
the
styles,
foot,
different times,
Different
different
style,
styles,
yeah. I
different
mean, look
times.
how big he is. He's not gonna be doing no backflips off no top rope.
Yeah.
You guys are comparing 1980s to 1990s. It was a different style and different times for both. You had the WWE old school style, basic heel versus face. He was a good old American. You all knew that he was all about America. Face,
yeah,
he was,
6 foot
he was definitely, yeah, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, you
See,
know what's funny is like back in the '80s, there was like maybe a handful of high flyers, like the rock and roll, the Rockers. Flying Brian,
Yeah,
he
the
was a high
Rockers. Yeah, I
flyer too.
remember that.
Remember Flying Brian?
but
yeah.
Yeah,
here's
the
the person,
Rockers
The
had the
U.S.
tag team
Express.
title.
but the person that actually made a lot of these moves relevant to this day that never got the credit that he did and he committed suicide was Christian Canyon. Christian Canyon was in WCW, if I'm correct, under the alias Mortis. And that's who he wrestled under. He wrestled under a mask. That dude was doing moves that the Young Bucks took, and a lot of your high flyers have taken. He was doing those moves back in the mid '90s. So he was the one that evolutionized this sport of professional wrestling, where you get all these high flying moves from. He was that guy. He never got the
They
credit.
say Ray was the one that revolutionized that, though.
No,
Why?
it was Chris Canyon. That was who
Yeah.
it was. It's not Rey Mysterio. It was Chris Canyon. That's exactly who it is. You have the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks used to talk to that man when they were kids. They were kids talking to a grown ass man because he was in the business. And they said if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be as good as they
Mm.
are. Brandon Cage, another professional wrestler that looked up to Chris Canyon. Who is better than Canyon? He got that. Who is better than Cage? He got it from Chris Canyon. So that's who the person that's doing your high flying moves and shit like that. That's the guy that never got credit for a lot of the moves that he's done, or these moves that's out here right now. Not Rey Mysterio Jr. And I'm not taking credit away from Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio made the cruiserweights and the little guys bigger than what they were. Because the little guys, the cruiserweight division in WCW was one of the best divisions in the '90s ever, and that's introduced us to Japanese wrestlers as well.
This is another guy that doesn't really get enough credit. Why does Conan not get enough credit? Winners, when people talk about wrestling, people ignore Conan. Is it because of
It's a lot of politics with Conan, because Conan don't care who feels he hurt. He tell it like it is, and that's the reason why. A lot of people agree with Conan. A lot of people don't agree with Conan. We don't know what happened behind the scenes too. So it might have been he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. That's why he don't really get the credit that he gets.
And by the way, he's the one who taught. I think it was Bret Hart, the sharpshooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he taught Bret Hart the sharpshooter.
Yeah, the sharpshooter was his move.
Yeah, he took Bret Hart the sharpshooter.
So yeah, so when we talk about the styles of wrestling, like the '80s was more power. It was basically about power. Now those cruiserweights and all of them, they were there. It's just that wasn't the pool of wrestlers.
They were called the light heavyweights back then, I think.
But I'm saying they wasn't the main priority of guys. When you're looking for new talent, those wasn't the guys you were really looking for at that time. And then when the '90s came around, they started coming in because they started getting seen in other countries and stuff like that. So that's when the mainstream started picking up on, but they'll have their little pool of players like X-Pac. Look at X-Pac as 1, 2, 3 Kid when he came in. He was the small dude, you know what I'm saying? Then Rey Mysterio, the other small dude, but you didn't have a shitload of them at the time.
Sting built his way, and look at his dude. That dude ribcage has to be made out of titanium. God made his, because if he does the Sting on me or you at the age of 60, our chest cage will break. I'm telling
you talking about the Stinger Splash?
The Stinger Splash on the ring rope. Like that dude trying to break your chest cage.
Mhm.
His chest cage is made out of steel, bro.
Dude,
Like
that
See,
those
I
is
think
like,
honestly, once you got into
that shit
the
hurt.
2000s, to me, the 2000s is when you started seeing the blend of power and speed, where it was a hybrid athlete, where it was not either. You saw more wrestlers being a combination of power and speed, where you can see big guys doing smaller guys moves. Like I'm not sure if Brock was just a freak athlete where he was able to do the moonsault and stuff like that
And
at
he
his
almost killed
size.
himself too
Yeah,
by
when
doing
he
that
almost
too.
when he almost hey after he almost broke his neck, he ain't do that shit no more.
he came up short. He came up short
Yep,
on third angle.
yep.
Oh man, that was the
I'm
scariest
surprised
thing
he
I
was
ever
able to.
Hey,
I'm
did.
surprised he was
by the
able to
way,
still
real quick,
wrestle.
one of the first times I seen somebody do a high risk maneuver outside of the ring. I'll never forget. It was Brian Pillman in WCW. He had on those black those tiger stripe
The Bengal
shorts.
trumps.
Bangle
Huh?
trunks.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. I never forget. It was outside the ring. He jumped from off top of the rafters onto the dude. I'm like, oh man, that was some shit. And he was the first person I seen do like a high risk maneuver like that.
Do you
To
think
me,
Jacob is just a freak athlete to be able
But
to do
that's why
what
they
he
call
does
him.
at
Remember,
his
they
size?
called him Flying Brian.
mhm,
Do you guys think Jacob Fatu is just a freak athlete to
hell
do
yeah,
at?
Hell
hell
yeah.
yeah,
Talk
hell yeah,
about
Who's
let
the
dude.
me
freak
talk
athlete?
Jacob
jumping up.
Fatu.
Who?
Like,
Jacob Batu.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
I think he's Sika's son. I can't remember who. I
He's
think he's.
I think he's what's the name? He's Haku's son.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
he's
Haku. Cause
Haku.
remember when he didn't he come walk into the ring and celebrate with him when he won the U.S.
Yes,
title?
yes,
He was outside of the ring. The camera
yeah.
didn't really. I didn't like the way the camera did. Like they didn't really like show it good. Like you seen him walking
Wait, wait,
soon as
wait.
he got the 1, 2, 3,
Right.
and
Joe
and
Lewis, what's up?
they had the main camera, the far away
Hey,
camera where
what's
you
going
could see
on?
the whole ring, and then you see Haku walking across
Yeah,
the
wait,
screen.
let's rewind that. I think that might be his uncle. I think Umanga is his father. So I think Umanga is Jacob Fatu's
Fatu.
dad.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Umaga is Lance Anawai's father. Lance.
Huh?
Where you at, Joe? Damn, man, you on the fucking boat.
In Toronto,
Uh,
Bro,
you can
Oh
smell
yeah.
man,
the
where
heat
you
from
at on
here.
a boat?
No, I'm on the pier.
I think Jacob said
Oh,
his father was L.A. Smooth.
oh, you on a pier out in Florida?
LA Smooth.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Toronto.
yeah. How do I switch my? I'm on a pier on an island across from Toronto.
island across from
Oh,
Toronto.
across
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
Toronto?
Yeah, it's like Toronto Island or
Can,
something. It's awesome out here.
can you
There's beaches,
can you see
stuff to
can you
do.
see immigrants coming in? Because they
Yeah,
say the border is wide
no,
over there.
yeah, no comment.
No, that's what they
What is the
said,
most
bro. I
unprotected
ain't even
border in
trying to
the
be
whole
funny.
world? So they would be coming in. It's the
Nice.
longest stretch.
I can't figure out how to flip my camera on this.
Yeah, you got to go to settings on the camera and then say front view and back or rear
Oh,
view.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
But I have
and
this
it's weird
question for you
how
guys.
deep this
yeah,
Samoan dynasty
yeah. Now it's on the rear
this
view.
wrestling family is. They have young guys
Hey,
wrestling now.
by the way, shout out to my man. Hey, listen, I know he's not a big wrestling fan, but shout out to my man Lewis. He has a message for crypto. I think I don't know, is that a good thing?
And I'm glad he said that because now that Sharif is up here, Lewis said he's honored to get the third time in a row consecutive Casual of the Year award from you, Sharif. So that's what was
Yeah.
said by Lewis. So there you go. He said he's
Oh,
proud to get that award, Sharif.
this portion of the program is brought to you by the great Chef Ju. The third upcoming Casual Fan of the Year awards will be sponsored by Tailgate, and we'll announce that in the upcoming show. Thank you, Crypto, for that sponsor.
Yes, and Lewis said he's honored to be a finalist.
And by the way, and it's also being sponsored by Blue Chew. If you're experiencing erection more than 4 hours, please consult the professional. Thank you.
Did you guys ever use 1-800-COLLECT when they used to advertise that on WWE TV?
Hell no. I wasn't paying that bill, bro. I got killed.
Oh, but I wanted to ask.
You don't understand
Right?
black families, do you? You don't understand black families. Nobody would have killed me, bro.
Mm.
Using collect calls?
I would think
I
I'd
want.
be on the podcast right now. Shoot.
You wouldn't be alive now, is what you're saying.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, man. But I wanted to get
It's a
you
little
guys'
island,
feedback
huh? That's a lot of boats out there, Joe Wiz. Yeah, that's nice.
with a wrestler, right? You think would be able to thrive in the TikTok, Twitch, reality show era? And my candidate is the Mr. Perfect. I think he would troll everyone like Tyreek while winning, because he would beat your ass in this era too. Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect? He probably would. He can wrestle in any era. Yeah.
You know the real story about Mr. Perfect? Mr. Perfect was a real life badass. Like Mr. Perfect was a character, but he was a real life badass, and he actually put certain people in holds, and they couldn't get the fuck out the holds. Like he was that guy. Like he actually wrestled. Like he was an all American. Like you didn't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying?
I think he would
back in
thrive.
the day. I remember back in the day when we would watch wrestling. I would put Man of the Hour's nephews in the perfect plex.
He was athletic as hell and strong, but the thing about it is,
Remember that
like,
Man of the Hour?
Hell yeah.
In this day and age, he would be doing the Tyreek shit to other rappers, and it would piss them off, and you can't beat him. So he would be trolling you, and trust me, Mr. Perfect would thrive in this era.
Yeah, no, the guy I think that would thrive in this era, based on his personality alone, maybe Coco Beware. Just
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Listen, I want to correct you real quick. It's not Coco Beware. It's TD's Fins Talk.
oh, good lord.
TD Beware.
There you go. TD Beware.
You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that. You're wrong for that.
There you go. Shout out to the homie TD Beware.
Do you think
man.
a character like in this era of like wrestling, do you think a guy like Sheik could handle that? The original Sheik?
The Sheik, hey. Boy, the Sheik would shit out too.
Would he handle what?
Guys,
No,
by
like
the way,
the social media, like
if the Dolphins go to the playoffs, he got a whole TD to that. He would wear it if the Dolphins make the playoffs. I want to see Coco.
no, what I'm asking with a guy like Iron Sheik, the original Sheik.
Yo, so Iron Sheik and original Sheik are two different people. Iron Sheik, he's on social media now, and I'm gonna tell you this. He cussed out. All right, there's a video going around right now, Anthony, that he cussed out Boys to Men for being a half an hour late to the studio because he was a guest on the same show that they were on, and he cussed them the fuck out to their faces. I was laughing. They cracked up. So I actually know people that met him in real life. They say he's the most humble, cool, funny. Just don't make him mad. You make him mad, you good. You make him mad, he's not gonna give a fuck. He gonna cuss you the fuck out.
I've always assumed the original Sheik and the Iron Sheik were the same person.
I would go to the extent and say his threats during the WWF were more viral than his fight. Like he would tell you he would come to destroy you, and that alone would like make its waves through the WWF. Like the Iron Sheik don't play.
Would Abdullah be good on deal with like? Is he a type of guy that like his personality?
GCW. He's the godfather. You got to think he's one of the godfathers of hardcore. Abdullah the Butcher is one of the godfathers of hardcore professional wrestling before hardcore and death matches and all that was a thing. Him, Bruiser Brody, Terry and Dory Funk, like the Texas death matches and the bull rope matches and those things. Those guys are like the godfathers of like that hardcore thing, the hardcore wrestling. You know what I mean? So, and then you had
that's what's weird. People give credit. They always say Mick Foley was the one that revolutionized that. Why is that? Is it my generation doesn't pay attention to the guys before that?
You got to think, Anthony. Mick Foley took the sickest bumps of bumps in professional wrestling, man. Like that bump off of that Hell in a Cell will forever go down as one of the sickest bumps. Because we never seen, bro. You got to think about it. I remember watching it live. I don't know if everybody else on this panel was watching it live, but I remember watching it live. And
I watched it just based off the highlight.
Dude, I said, yo, he good. That was the first thing I said, yo, he good. Ain't no way he getting up. He got up and climbed back up. I'm like, come on, bro. Like
that man's I wouldn't be surprised like if Mick Foley wasn't a pro wrestler, he would have been a stuntman in the movies.
Dude, you gotta have your brain.
I think
staying healthy. Let's
go. To me, I think he just loved what he did, and there was nothing he wouldn't do, and he didn't care. Like the teeth he lost. Look how he walks now, bro. He could barely walk.
Like I've seen like videos of him. He can barely lift his right leg.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the clip.
Man of the hour and Dolphin winners. For you guys, what's the worst tragedy? More of the worst tragedy, the Von Erichs or the Bruiser Brody incident in Puerto Rico?
All of the above.
Yeah, both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, if you had to choose, which one was worse for the business?
I'm not choosing. All of it is tragic, bro. Anytime a person loses their lives for a sport that we watch on an everyday basis, it's tragic, inside or outside the ring. For the exception of the Chris Benoit, which is tragic for the victims, but that piece of shit, come on, man.
Yeah.
Besides that, bro, all those are tragic, bro. All of them are tragic. I'm not choosing just one incident.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about like football players who can transition well, like guys from the 80s and stuff. And the guys I brought up that could have transitioned well into, because of their personalities alone, I think LT would have done well in wrestling. Lawrence Taylor, Deion Sanders, Refrigerator Perry.
Well,
you don't think so?
Perry, yeah. Lawrence Taylor, no, because he do too much coke. And it's story that Bam Bam Bigelow clearly said in the shoot interview, he was the one he had to carry him through the match because he was gassed. Like he said LT was gassed within the first 4 minutes of that match, and they actually had to wrestle. If I'm correct, he said 15 to 17 minutes. That was the actual time limit for that match. So he had to carry him for that match and make him look good. And he said it was his biggest payday in wrestling ever. So he got paid $500,000.
How about Deion? Do you think Deion could transition well into wrestling?
Deion is just too flashy. That's one of my favorite players ever. He's one of my favorite football players ever. I've been a Deion fan since Florida State.
Actually, you know who would have been a good Julius Peppers, because he was a defensive tackle, basketball player. That guy too. You know what I mean? He was a.
You can't wait, guys. We can't just sit there and pass up on Mongo. Mongo, God bless his soul, he just passed away. McMichael from the Chicago Bears, he transitioned over to the WCW, and he actually was a pro wrestler at one point, and he actually could wrestle really well. And he
won a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl too.
Exactly.
I think Fitzmagic will transition pretty well, because Fitzmagic will get in your face. He'll fake like you hit him. The flag will come out. Like
no, I have another one. Maybe a Ray Lewis could transit, like based on his
Nah,
like
they're talking about who's going to bring entertainment, Anthony, not just brute
Yeah.
straight. Oh, I'm
no,
afraid.
Well,
Ray
That
is an
actually, Ray
entertainment
No,
Lewis,
Ray
player.
Lewis
actually Ray
is.
Lewis,
Yeah.
but
Ray Lewis is
He's
entertainment.
entertainment.
hey,
Ray. Yeah,
real quick,
You know it.
I when thinking about it, I agree with Anthony. Deion Sanders will be a good manager. I don't think he'll be a wrestler, but he'll be a good manager.
Yeah.
He can carry the
Like a
earth
Paul
without
Heyman.
Undertaker.
His mouthpiece is crazy.
Yeah, so
Dion can carry the
I
earth
think
for
he will be
Undertaker.
I think
How about a
he'll make
Sean
a great
Taylor?
manager.
Dion, I feel like what
Which
we getting that with Carmelo Hayes.
uh,
Wow.
you think Carmelo really
Yeah,
with Dion?
great.
Carmelo
Come
Hayes
on,
is
man.
basically what Dion would have been. The
How about
flashiness, the
Sean?
talk
Like,
game.
how about a guy like Sean Taylor? Do you think he would have done well?
Sean Taylor, if he could talk, I mean, if we're gonna
If he
just
could talk, yeah.
That
if he
that
could
man
talk,
could talk trash because if you've seen his highlights when he was in
I think Reggie Miller could be a good manager.
in Miami,
Hey,
Like
hey,
you
check this
hate
out.
Reggie.
Deion Sanders will be the future Reverend Slick. Remember Reverend Slick?
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
I think
Because you
Reggie
gotta
Miller
think,
could
I'll say, here's the thing, what I would say is a lot of those guys will be good in the 80s because a lot of those guys could be matched up with managers and the manager could sit there and do a lot of talking for them. But then after they're done with one storyline, how much potential would you have after if they could set you up with one storyline? Can you transition? Can you do this? See, that's the longevity of professional wrestling. The men and women that we watch on an everyday and night basis, they find a way to keep themselves relevant. Even though they might get maybe seconds on the camera, they find a way to keep themselves relevant. Look at Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross secretly signed a 3-year deal, which I just found out about because a lot of the fans were like, man, I need to start using this guy more often. And a lot of people are saying that he doesn't take a lot of back bumps. That's why he's not getting pushed. That's not it. It was the same thing when they were talking about Malachi Black when he was in AEW because he wasn't losing matches. It's just the way he was booked. So people got to sit there and stop overthinking certain things. That's just how it is sometimes.
I think that they try what hurt Karrion too. Actually, they try to bring his, that gimmick that he had in the Indies, the Kevin Cross belt. I forgot what it was called. I think they tried to bring that, and it didn't really work out really that well. Like how they debuted him, it worked for like a couple of shows, but it didn't. It wasn't a gimmick that would have lasted that long. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, when he first came in, I know
Yeah.
him. When
Yeah.
Like he was a part of a bondage, some type of
The
bondage
Toll Man
type
or whatever
shit.
it was called.
Yeah, that shit was kind of crazy, bro. I wasn't feeling that.
when with the girl, she had the blonde hair right at the time.
Yeah, Scarlett,
his wife, Savannah,
Scarlett.
Boudreaux or whatever, Scarlett Boudreaux.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's fine as hell. Scarlett, I've seen videos of her. She posts videos of herself working out and stuff like that. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I don't realize how strong like some of these female wrestlers are because most of them are like outside of like Raquel and
Anthony, I thought you were gonna say I don't realize how strong I get when I see the female wrestlers. I'm like, what?
No. What I'm gonna say is like, no. What I was gonna say is outside of like a few like Raquel and Rhea, most of these female wrestlers are tall and very skinny. So you don't realize how strong they actually are because
you better stop sleeping on them, bro. A lot of these women are fit fighters, martial artists. That guy, for example, Natty Neidhart, one of my favorite wrestlers in the game right now. That woman is a monster. You know who her dad is. Her dad is Jim and Andrew Neidhart. And she came from the Heart Foundation and been in the dungeon. And like I like talking about like the radio because she talks about how she trains with a lot of the women in the dungeon because everybody comes to the dungeon. Everybody. If you are a professional wrestler, some way, shape, or because it get down and dirty in that dungeon. That's where you learn.
Yeah, and the other three people that people because how small they are, they underestimate how strong Io, Asuka, and Kyrie are. Like, I don't know, like, is it because how compact they are? Like how, like when you look at them, that you don't notice how strong they really are. Like Kyrie and them,
It's
those
in the
Japanese
rice.
wrestlers.
It's in the rice, man.
Stupid as shit.
It's in the rice. Whatever is in that rice, boy.
Every female that you just named, Anthony, they all held the Stardom titles. They all held multiple titles in Japan. So if fans know, because people don't, I want you to look up a match that happened years ago. Kairi Sane versus Tony Storm in 2016. I want you to look that match up as soon as we're done here. Phenomenal fucking match. Because people got to understand, these women have wrestled each other before. Just because they are in different organizations right now, it's like, damn, I would like to see that match, but it would have to be Tony Storm going over to WWE, which she was at one point in WWE, but people don't realize that. Like, people got to understand, like, there is life after WWE or AEW. These are these small territories or these organizations in Japan and Mexico. And some of these matches have taken place. You just gotta look
So
them
you
up.
think that's what hurts? Are like, do you guys think that hurts the American fan base, the North American fan base specifically, that we're so focused on North American wrestling that we don't think that there's other wrestling around the world and stuff like that?
To a new fan.
No, even to like established fans. That's what I'm thinking. Even to established fans.
Because I've been watching Japanese wrestling for 30 plus years. I've been watching Japanese wrestling since VHS tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have the other thing, Betamax too?
My dad had a Betamax way back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget, Luchador. Chris Jericho got his start in Luchador wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yes, sir. Lionheart.
Yeah.
And he brings some of them those characters on AEW before he disappeared. He was always reverting back to this person, to that person, and all that. That's how Chris Jericho was able to remain relevant, because he knew how to switch it up. And all his body had to do was just be able to take the bumps. Because as long as he could just keep giving different versions of himself, he could stay relevant. And then he gets in the ring with the younger new talent also. So help them get the push and or get them over the hump real quick and, take the L if he has to.
He says he wants to do one more WWE run. He wants to. And I think his contract with AEW is almost up this year. So we might see him on WWE TV maybe late this year or 2026.
Royal Rumble.
Yo, that would be lovely. Oh man,
Royal Rumble. Just imagine number 21 or something, and it starts counting down like it did when he did the Y2K.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what's funny is I could pinpoint exactly when I became a Jericho fan. It was when he was a cruiserweight title, belt holder or whatever. And every week he would lose the title, and he'll go to JJ Dillon. Hey, listen, this is the rule book. He'll always no, this you need this, and he'll find a loophole in the rule book and get the belt back.
Mm-hmm. I remember them days.
Yeah, that was funny. Every week he'll lose a title, and then he'll like, for instance, he lost it, and then because Rey Mysterio interfered, he go, oh no, he wasn't a wrestler at the time, so that means because Rey Mysterio interfered, that made the match non-void, so he got the belt back. He's like, son of a bitch.
Hey, we were talking about strong wrestlers. I mean, Lash Legend. Come on, man. She out here body slamming big ass Otis, bro. With no problem.
That's somebody, y'all gotta school me because I don't know who y'all talking about. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh, she's on NXT. She's an NXT
wrestler.
I've seen the clip thousands of times, but y'all got to school because I don't watch NXT like that. I don't.
Yeah, she's one of those. She's strong too.
She's a former basketball player.
Yeah, they get her character right and get her like she's a little right now.
She's a bigger version of Bianca. She's a taller version of Bianca, to be honest.
Okay.
Hey, let me ask y'all this: would y'all like? Would it be entertaining to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in a ring?
Oh hell no!
Hell
That'd be
no!
crazy.
Hell no!
Next question.
Hey, I'll tell you this: if Vince was there, he'd try to book that shit for real.
Yes, he would.
He would have promoted the hell out of that. Whether it would have been the commentators, just even because Vince is always in your ear on the head when you're a commentator. So he would have said, "Oh,
Yep.
mention this, mention that, mention this, mention that." He would have had Michael Cole or somebody at that announce
Hey,
table
listen,
say something.
I would, and you know what's funny is I would say let it be a bikini match, but after I saw this picture, I don't think so.
Exactly.
That's horrible. That's horrible. You're wrong for that. Winners. Actually, you know what? I talk to friends who are hardcore wrestling fans, and they underestimate how when we talk about lucha libre, they always just say they're high flyers. What people forget is El Santo, Mil Mascaras weren't really big high flyers. They were big guys. They were powerful. Like when you looked at the wrestling style, they were using the North American style of wrestling in Mexico and stuff like that. Yeah, and people forget that. Like not every luchador is gonna be the small, fast guy. You're gonna see a lot of. I'm gonna use Psycho Clown as an example. That guy's a big guy. He's a high flyer, but naturally he's a power wrestler.
Well, you have to think back, and it's usually days back in the day. I know Shaker noticed, I know Man of the Hour noticed, I know Crypto noticed. I remember watching Super Crazy and Psychosis and all those guys come through that cruiserweight division in WCW. Me personally, it was hard for me to flip back and forth from Raw to Smack or from Raw to Nitro or Nitro to Raw because it would be a banging ass cruiserweight match on. You like, damn, they getting this shit on, and you had guys, you had those guys. You were like, wow, them guys can actually move. Like one of the first big men that I actually sat there and moved. I say this, move like a luchador, not just do flips. Move like a luchador was like Mike Awesome. That was one of the first big men that I seen that could move like with those small guys, and it was impressive. Like, damn, this dude is like 6'7", 6'8", and he's doing La
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow did a lot of cartwheels and he did a lot of flips. What I'm saying is he would do La Planchas. He was doing flips over the top rope. Over the top rope. Bam Bam wasn't flipping over the top rope. He would give you one of those dodge through the ropes. Like Big Boss Man would do that as well. Like I'm not saying that they're not
like a tope. Like a tope.
What I'm saying is like if there was a lucha libre style match, Mike Awesome could hang in a lucha libre style match. I think Bam Bam would be more limited. I think Big Boss Man would be more limited. I'm not saying those guys are not agile.
I have another one. Marco Corleone, Jindrak would do that type of stuff too. What you're talking about with Mike Awesome?
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, styles make fights. You know, I like seeing guys that you think they can't hang in a type of match like that actually can hang in that type of match. And I've been wrong many a time sitting there saying stuff like this. You never know. I might sit there, might be something out there where there is a style of match where they're going at it, and I'll be sitting there eating crow right now. That's just what it be sometimes.
Sorry, guys, I'm feeding my dogs while I'm talking to you.
But yeah, we got less than a half an hour left. We got next week we got a whole bunch of professional wrestling. So I'll just be catching up and watching the replays of a lot of it because I'm not gonna be able to watch all of it all at once. Ain't no way.
Is there a big guy you guys can think like outside of Jacob Fatu? Is there a big guy in any other company that you guys feel can pull off all these lucha libre moves that you see done now? Like outside Jacob?
I don't think they could do a Jacob do, but what's the big dude and who was with in the House of Black with Alistair Black and
Brody
AEW?
King. Brody King.
Brody King.
Yeah, boy.
That big boy could move.
He can move like a cat. Gabe Kidd. Look up Gabe Kidd, Anthony. Gabe Kidd from New Japan Pro Wrestling is not a small guy. And he's very agile. And he's very strong. And he got a mean streak.
No, but the difference, Gabe started out as a cruiserweight before he gained all that weight. When he was in England, he was a small guy. He was like 195 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
People forget he was a small. He was a light heavyweight. He was in the same weight class as Pac and Adrian Neville, and I forgot the other British guy that and Pac's teammate that he was paired up when he first came to WWE. The other British guy, I forgot his name. Yeah, but in general, like for me, I like Japanese wrestling, but sometimes I feel like how they pace the matches can be very
different, bro. It's different than CNTS. That's what I was talking about a few shows ago. Styles make fights, and Japanese wrestling, Mexican wrestling, and American wrestling are completely different. The fans react completely different. The story in the ring is told completely different. You know, that's why I love professional wrestling, not just WWE, not just AEW, not just New Japan, not just Ring of Honor, not just CMLL. I mean, I'm going on and on and on. I love professional wrestling because you don't get the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. Warners.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask: is it safe to say that we might have talked about this before, but I'm gonna say it again? Is it safe to say that Chris Jericho, that theme song he had where the crowd would sing it, is that the first time that has happened? Because now you notice we get that a lot for Cody Rhodes, and we get it for Randy Orton, especially internationally. Like the United States area, they try to do it, but they're not as loud as like the Saudi arena was when they did it. And every time they go out of the country, they're just singing the hell out of Randy Orton songs or Cody songs and whatever. But I think Jericho song started that, right? No.
So here's the thing with that. Now, this is what I've learned, and I just found this out by learning about this wrestler. R-Truth theme, that's him. That's his music. He did the theme, rapped, played the music, all that. He owns the rights to the song.
Right.
So I think, I'm not sure if he was the first one to do it. Then Jericho came along later with his group, Fozzy, and did his joint. But I think that maybe that, what's the name? R-Truth did it before he did it. Because every time he plays the song, like he has a license into the song. That means if he decides he wants to go to TNA or anywhere else, he can take the song with him. Same thing with Fozzy. So I think Truth has had that song since he's been in WWE, and he's been in WWE 17 years or 18 years. Because he got released and came back. So
but see, the thing is with R-Truth, they're not actually rapping.
What about Cena? Didn't Cena do his own music too?
Yeah, Cena did his own music too.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, I don't mean like
I
don't mean the artist. I don't mean the wrestler like doing their own song. I mean like the audience singing along to it and whatever. Now they got the volume meter to see how loud the crowd is when they're singing the song. Like WWE shows that the level of dBs and decibels and how loud the crowd is singing the I hear voices in my. They doing that.
The reason why that's happening is, they only get to see them once a while. Like, they don't get to see them like we get to see them. See, we're spoiled. We get to see them every week on American soil. Those men and women, they don't get a chance from Ireland. Like the one that sent chills up my spine. It wasn't even singing. It was when they cheered AJ Styles, literally for 5 fucking minutes, where the camera was shaking. It sounded like they were at a soccer game. And you could just even look at AJ. You could see at AJ's face. He was amazed. Like he couldn't even keep his composure. Like damn. Like because these men and women don't get a chance to see the WWE come in their country often. So that's why the energy is so much different overseas than it will be here in America. So
So yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying, like when Chris Jericho, he lost a match, like because it became a part of a storyline. Like the fans would always sing his songs, and then they'll lower it, and the fans is finishing off the verse or whatever, the hook or whatever is being played and whatever, even though it's not really playing anymore, and the audience is just singing it and whatever. Then came a time where he had a stipulation that if you lose the match, you couldn't come out to your song or whatever, because they
So
wanted
theme
the fans
songs were banned because of losses.
No, it was just that match, and it was just for him.
Okay.
It was just for him because because the fans would sing along to his theme song, and they be loud, like you could hear them clearly singing your shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's muffled or whatever. You actually hearing and understanding what they're saying because they're in sync together.
So to answer your question, man of the hour, I'm gonna be real with you. You know when that shit really started? It started here in Philadelphia when we was at ECW Arena singing Enter Sandman when the Sandman used to come out, and then it would be Tommy Dreamer and those guys. We would actually sing the song in the crowd. Like if you went back and looked at old ECW footage,
you're right.
Enter Sandman, and we as fans was like screaming that song.
You're right. Was it the song? Is it the song that Clemson used when they come to the I believe so, Clemson. Yes. I think Clemson uses the same song when they coming down to the field because that long walkway. I think they use the same song, and I think the crowd do the same thing over at their home games, especially big games.
Right, because we would sing Enter Sandman, Metallica, and we would sing the theme RVD would come out to. Like we would sing that song because that was a rock song.
Yeah,
that was a metal song. We would sing that anywhere ECW would go, and that song would come on. The crowd would go the fuck nuts.
Okay.
And we would sing. So that's where it really started. I've been there plenty of nights where you couldn't even hear yourself. Shit, whatever. Yeah, truck. Yeah, oh, okay.
Hey, by the way, is MVP still a wrestler?
No, not really.
He doesn't wrestle. He wrestles every once in a while, but he's not like
so he's like a manager, right?
But you don't see him wrestling on TV.
Yeah, man. Wrestler. Whatchamacallit? MVP is gonna manage a new wrestler. I think Crypto is gonna get on board. DVP.
Yeah.
Right, Crypto.
We were talking about those big guys like a Jindrak and stuff like that. Winners. Well, people forget about Jindrak and Awesome. They were big guys, but when you actually look at them,
as a wide receiver,
they were 330, 235, but they were very wiry. They weren't like muscular guys. They were like they're almost like Angelico from AEW. They're tall guys, but they were lanky and very skinny. Even though they were 235, they weren't like muscular like that. Do you agree?
I agree.
All right, Crypto. Crypto wants Devontae Parker to come back to the Dolphins to finish his story.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you know who it is. He got sent to the Eagles. The Eagles got his rights. So if he did come out of retirement, he let it go to the Eagles first.
Yeah.
He's gonna win the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
We'll trade Tyreek Hill straight up. Just like
Hey, that'll get the rebuild going faster. Yeah, I'll be down for it.
We trade Tyreek for Devontae Smith.
Let's finish. Hey, let's finish his story. Devontae Parker. He needs to finish his story.
Oh man.
They said like I've heard people say that Shaquille O'Neal, like young
Right.
Shaq, would have done well in pro wrestling if he had.
Yes. He wrestled in WWE and he wrestled in
No, I'm
AEW.
talking about young Shaq, like younger.
Everybody
Not
knows who the best wrestler in the NBA is Dennis Rodman.
Yo, I'm a official member of the NWO.
And remember, he wrestled. It was a straight up match. Him and Macho Man, and anything goes.
Yeah.
And what I almost threw up when he threw him in the outhouse and kicked him over. I know that had to be fake.
But Shake, didn't they used to call that the no holds barred matches?
Yeah, no holds barred.
It was called no holds barred, I think. Is what they used to call it.
That's a question. Are Texas
I think that was it.
Are Texas death matches and no holds barred matches just the same thing underneath a different name? Basically,
pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you have literally no referee in the ring.
Yeah, that's
Who do you think is gonna win that match? Winners between that Texas death match between Hangman and Moxley at All In, or is it All In or All Out?
I think it's All In.
Yeah. By the way, I found out recently on the court channel that Diddy used to hold no holds barred too.
That's true. Yeah, it definitely was.
I knew there was going to be a Diddy performing in this show. I don't know why. Why I didn't think he was not going to get one Diddy show. Shit.
Apparently, did you see? Apparently, WWE's gonna sign Psycho Clown, Dolphin winners.
I seen that. The thing about it is, we gonna fit him. You still got to bring up Mr. Iguana. You still got the King go out there. Like these guys are officially signed to WWE.
I hear they're going after what, Danhausen.
That makes no sense, honestly. I like Danhausen, but he doesn't know how to wrestle.
Oh, he can wrestle. Don't think he can't wrestle. See, that's because he plays.
Is it just like based on how he's booked that I feel he can't wrestle?
He can wrestle. Like what do y'all work? He can wrestle.
So listen, like we mentioned earlier that you said earlier how SmackDown will be going back down to 2 hours and all that other stuff. But again, I'm still with these long commercial things they be doing. You get 2 or 3 commercials in one match, so that's going to be cut down. So if we're worried about talent not being on TV and whatever, if you're trying to get people exposed and your company bringing in all these new guys, like the new guys is going to need television time and whatever.
I think those guys are going to start to me, the Triple H guys might start in NXT first.
You know what's funny is, and I think that was kind of like the beginning of the ending for WCW when they made it 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. It's too damn long.
It's too long, but then again, your matches don't have to go on so long either, because by the time you're a 2 hour show, and if you sit up there, when you were 3 hours and you sit up there and you go through 2 or 3 commercial breaks in the same damn match, like by the time this match is over, you're like you lost about 25 minutes already.
And the company, I'm surprised, lasted as long as it did, Mr.
And don't forget the bullshit talking they do at the beginning of the show.
Right.
Yeah, for me, the wrestling company, I'm surprised lasted as long as it has. They started they opened up their doors at the ending. I think they started their show at the ending. I think it was directly after ECW. Did TNA start right after ECW shut down?
Well,
TNA was going on when ECW was going on too. They both were going on at the same time at one point.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the original ECW.
The original ECW at one point in time, if I'm correct, TCM was still going on and ECW was going on. TNA just didn't have a TV deal. That was the problem. Because I remember at one point in time, ECW was just coming on the sports channel here in Philly, and you had to catch it at 6 o'clock, if I'm correct. It was 6 o'clock on a Wednesday in the early evening. And that's the only way you caught ECW until they got the TV deal with TNN on the country. That was a country station. And then that didn't last long because they wanted them to tone down the stuff that they did. And they like, well, we can't, this is ECW, we're Extreme Championship Wrestling for a reason. So.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think eventually what TNA is going to do, since they're going back to the original name, for their pay-per-views, I think they're going to go back to doing their weekly pay-per-views like on Wednesdays like they used to when they first had opened up the company. Do you think that can work in today's TV or not really?
All we can do is sit and watch away because you know they got a partnership with WWE right now. They have an agreement to work with each other here and there. So I'll be honest with you, that's their forbidden door. I hope it works for them because they got their three, like AEW, they got AAA, TNA, and WWE, and they do have somewhat of a working relationship with Noah Professional Wrestling over in Japan. Same thing with how AEW has with New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMLL, and also a working relationship with DDT in Japan as well. So it's, like I said, it's a beautiful thing for us wrestling fans. We're going to get collaboration that we never thought we were going to get, and we're getting them now. I just don't want them to be watered down. That's all I'm asking, because AEW is not doing a bad job. But my problem with AEW, and I know we got 5 minutes left, is AEW has not dropped any titles to any Japanese wrestlers in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I got a problem with that. You need to work it to a point, Tony, where one of your belts need to go to Japan. You've had the IWGP US title on your television. You've had the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on your TV station. You've had all those belts on your station, but you've never had not one AEW title in New Japan. Let it go over there, let it float for a little bit. You never had it over there. You let Kenny Omega go over to Japan and defend the title. You let Takeshi go over there to defend the title. John Moxley, you let them all do this to defend the title and all that. I get it. But damn it, drop one of your titles to one of these other organizations like New Japan Pro Wrestling or CMLL. If you're going to do business, do it right. You can write a storyline that's at the end of one of your titles go over there. It's not a problem.
Yeah, and I think also that what you're talking about, winners, is there's some guys that work in the booking department that come from an old school mentality that don't want that to happen because they feel that's going to water down the title if you let a foreigner who is not on your TV constantly hold the title and stuff like that.
So
is that a bad thing to do? Like, is that an old?
The thing with that is they have a partnership just like with CBS and all that. They got a partnership with New Japan Pro World, which AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision and their pay-per-views are on that network. So the Japanese would know who these wrestlers are as well. So I'm not buying that. And it's another thing with a lot of people, and I know we don't have a lot of time left. People say, well, where are these people from or whatever, and they just throw them out there or whatever. I'm like, look, you got all the technology in the world to know and find out who these people are. Come on, like, everybody ain't got to sit there. Like, everything ain't got to be explained like the WWE way. And a lot of people are just spoiled. They like that WWE way, so be it. I'm not going to knock you for that. But I'm a wrestling fan that does their homework. I'm an old school wrestling fan before the internet, where I actually sat there and read up on wrestlers and found out who they were and what they were about before we had the technology that we have. So
yeah, and people, this is where I think my generation is so, even with the internet, I think American wrestling fans in this generation are stuck in a bubble. They focus purely on North American wrestling. We don't watch anything outside, like in Japan or Europe or Mexico. We focus purely on the independent scene in Canada and the US. We don't go outside of that. That's what hurts our fans when it comes to understanding other styles, and that's why they complain that they don't know some of these wrestlers. When Shinsuke debuted in WWE on the main roster and NXT, people are like, who is this person? Like, the bubble hurt, that North American wrestling bubble hurts my generation. We're so stuck in watching just independent and pro wrestling in the United States that we don't branch out. Do you agree? The
Bro,
the younger generation, it hurts them.
hey, Anthony, AAA wrestling. I didn't know anything about that, bro. And then these guys come from AAA. They go ahead and do that, bro. That show was spectacular, bro. Iguana Man. I never knew about that man, bro. Iguana Man is next level type of stuff that's been hidden. I never even knew about it.
Yeah, Gorna, man.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're so stuck fans in, like, outside of, like, your older generation.
It's
Leonard,
like
most of
Ultimo
the
Dragon.
fans, like,
What?
anybody under, like, that was born in the 80s and 90s and going on, we basically have grown up in a wrestling bubble. We don't really watch a ton of, like, we don't watch a ton of wrestling outside of North America. That's what hurts us. What Cap just said, he didn't know who Iguana Man was until WWE debuted him on the Worlds Collide pay-per-view and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that card was excellent, bro. Worlds Collide. And then Stephanie, bro. Stephanie, I didn't even know, bro, that she was like that. She did like almost 3 matches in 3 days, bro.
Oh, Stephanie's a beast, bro. I was watching Stephanie record at New Japan Pro Wrestling before you guys found out about her. She's a
And
beast.
Julia.
And Julia. Both of them are beasts. So, guys, it's 1 o'clock. I'm about to head on out. Jake, we're going to be doing this in another 2 weeks, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, by the way, that's Honor the Giant, Cap for Life, right? Right, Honor Cap for Life? Is that Honor the Giant?
Guys,
Okay.
thanks for coming up. Thanks for everybody that were listening today and watching with us today for the 2 hours. And we'll be seeing you guys again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
sir. Yes, sir.
For sure.
All right, y'all.
Sure.
Stay safe, everybody.
You too.
Be
Peace.
easy.
Be easy, everybody.
Mhm.
All right. Hold on. Where the heck is the damn outro button? Son of a bitch.